In the past several months, China has significantly expanded its stockpile of nickel, a critical industrial metal essential to producing stainless steel, batteries, and military equipment. Since December of last year, customs records and delivery data from international markets indicate that China has imported both refined nickel and vast quantities of unprocessed nickel ore. By the end of June, China's domestic inventory of refined nickel had reportedly increased by approximately 100,000 metric tons. That figure alone suggests a deliberate acceleration in reserve building. However, analysts believe the full extent of China's nickel holdings, including unrefined ore, could be far greater than what Western observers had previously estimated. Nickel's uses are wide-ranging. It plays a key role in the manufacture of alloys, the production of electric vehicle batteries, and in shipbuilding. China's sudden buildup of such an essential raw material, especially when global prices have dipped to a 5-year low, has raised eyebrows among trade experts and policymakers abroad. This surge in stockpiling is not occurring in isolation. It is taking place at a time of growing uncertainty in international trade and heightened geopolitical tensions. Although China does not import nickel ore directly from the United States, it relies heavily on countries such as the Philippines and Australia, both key U.S. allies. Recent diplomatic pressure from Washington has prompted these countries to re-evaluate their export relationships with Beijing. The Philippines remains China's primary supplier of laterite nickel ore, shipping tens of millions of tons annually. Yet this supply chain is vulnerable. Any disruption, whether by design or consequence, could significantly impact China's industrial and defense production. Meanwhile, several regions around China are experiencing rising geopolitical tensions. Potential conflict zones include the Taiwan Strait, the South China Sea, and the Korean Peninsula. Western intelligence agencies have openly discussed the possibility of maritime blockades in the event of a crisis, particularly at key choke points like the Strait of Malacca. Such measures could severely restrict China's access to imported resources. Faced with these uncertainties, China's government appears to be implementing a long-term strategy to mitigate supply risks. Stockpiling raw materials such as nickel is one element of a broader national effort to secure energy, food, and industrial inputs. This strategy, while prudent from a national security perspective, has implications for global markets. The question being raised internationally is whether this approach undermines principles of fair and open trade. By purchasing resources aggressively during periods of low pricing and limited global supply, China may be gaining an outsized advantage that other nations cannot easily replicate. Moreover, the lack of transparency surrounding China's reserve strategy further complicates efforts to maintain equitable global market conditions. Efforts to secure bilateral partnerships through initiatives like the Belt and Road are also being viewed as part of this broader effort to reinforce supply chain resilience. Critics argue that while such moves are not illegal, they can distort markets and increase dependence on a single dominant player, potentially destabilizing global trade structures. The global community now faces a difficult challenge: how to balance national security concerns with the need for fair access to critical resources. Transparency, cooperation, and adherence to international trade norms will be key in preventing future imbalances. For now, China's nickel buildup serves as a case study in how economic strategy, resource acquisition, and geopolitics intersect, often with profound consequences for global stability.